Hi, everybody. Welcome to Varsa Volume. Welcome to another live stream. Thank you to everyone who just tuned in. Guys, before we get started, you guys know the drill. Please like the video, and also, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. We're going to have a fire show. RSM is going to stop by in just a little bit. So I decided to start off the live stream. I decided to start on time. He'll be here in just a second. It's going to be a fire show, by the way. We're going to be talking a lot of things. We're going to be talking about Chelsea. We're going to be talking about Barcelona, Fermin Lopez to Chelsea. He's going to give us his perspective on that. We're also going to be talking about the Ballon d'Or situation. We're also going to be talking about his prediction. I want somebody who is not a Real Madrid fan, somebody who is not a let's say a Barcelona fan, right? A voice, an unbiased voice, and that's why I'm bringing on RSM. Some of you who are diehard, some of you who are diehard with me since I started this channel, you guys know this. Me and RSM used to battle out together, like back then. Maybe 2 months ago, we used to do shows together, pre-recorded. I think we did a live show together once. I'm very excited to have him back on this channel to just have a fire conversation. But I want to thank you, everyone who is actually in the chat right now, and I want to ask you guys to please like this stream. What is up, Blaugrana Zone, man? Hey, guys, please go subscribe to Blaugrana Zone. He just started his channel. How cool would it be for you guys to be one of the first subscribers on that channel? I think you would appreciate it very much, man. I appreciate everyone who's stopping by right now, and everybody who's on the chat. Hey, Hyde, man. I listened to you when you were on on Jonas' channel. I think you could be a really good content creator, buddy. I was listening to you, so I think you should start your own channel, bro. To be honest with you, because I was listening to the calling show that Jonas was doing. So yeah, guys, get in the chat. Let me know what you guys want to ask RSM. Let me know what you guys want to do. He's having a few technical issues, but he is ready to join in as soon as possible. We're gonna have a great show, man. Thank you. 23 people watching, man. If you guys can just hit that like button for me, that would be great, man. Like, we got 6 likes and 23 people watching. That would bring more people to the show. What is up, Only Barca, man? How's it going, man? He ain't going anywhere. You don't think Fermin Lopez is going to go anywhere? Actually, I thought by today we would have more clear, more of a clear thing where this was swinging, whether it was Chelsea, whether it was staying. We still don't know. But the one thing I thought it was very interesting is that apparently the coach for Chelsea already spoke with Fermin Lopez, and he spoke with him apparently twice in the last 24 hours. And Barcelona, right? Deco, Laporta, they actually called Fermin yesterday, and they try to get a hold of him, and he didn't answer the phone. I thought that was very telling. I thought this is something worthy of note because honestly, like if that is true, then he's seriously thinking about joining Chelsea. Like I didn't think it was actually going to happen, but until I hear the news, until I hear the news that that he was actually going to like he wasn't answering the phone or anything. Not answering the phone, it's something. It's not everything, but it's something. Like definitely. Let's see, Barca should sell Fermin for 70. Okay, so that's where I draw the line. I 100% agree with you. I think if we are going to get rid of Fermin, it has to be for the right price. Now, I've called Fermin the golden bench player. To me, Fermin is literally the best player that it's not starting for Barcelona. And Fermin Lopez, it's not that he's a bench player. He's a rotational player. I think there's a difference between being a bench player and being a rotation, because in the rotation sometimes he starts, sometimes he comes in the second half, and we saw him in the game against wasn't no yeah a game against it was Mallorca, right? He started that game. It was the season debut. He started that game. So it's not like he's not playing. It's not like he's a bench player. Like he's a rotation player, which is a totally different animal. It's not the same. Not everything's created equal. And I think for me, Lopez, but I'm curious to hear from RSN, who's having some audio issues. He texted me, so he'll be here in just a second. But I want to get his take on it, because I think that Fermin Lopez and Cole Palmer, they kind of play around the same area. So I'm curious to know, like, why is Chelsea promising Fermin Lopez that he's going to start when he's got Cole Palmer there in that position? Big up Miguel, what is up, man? How's it going? Big up, bro. Of course, man. Anytime. Yo, Volume, what is up, Brandon? How's it going, my man? How's everybody doing? Paulito FC. This must be a channel, right? Okay, so RSM is here. So I'm just gonna read this real quick. I believe us fans take La Masia for granted, that we believe we'll have someone who is better than Fermin easily. So even when we want him, he blocks Dro. We got Dro and Tony. Yeah, I mean, that's true. So I got the man in the house right here, man. RSM, what is up, my man?
Yo, what up, what up, what up? Nah, I mean, listen, it's been good since we last spoke.
I know, dude. It's been a while. How long has it been?
Yeah, I think literally before the Club World Cup started. So yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been way too long, bro, because we've been putting up pretty good shows. People loved it. I saw it in the comments even back then. So I think it's going to be even better now. But people are going to think, RSM, that we planned this. People are going to say that we're doing this because of Fermin, right? Tell them.
No, that dropped out of nowhere, man. I think for both of us, nobody expected that.
Nobody expected that. We talked last week, and I reached out to you when you were live, and then I sent you a WhatsApp, and I said, "Hey, RSM, it's been too long. We need to get together, man. We need to do a show together on my channel." And boom, yesterday the news about Fermin, I thought it was all bull crap, and then all of a sudden, dude, some things are happening. What's your initial take, though? Because I really dying to hear your thoughts as far as Fermin, because I think Fermin is, I called him the golden bench player, but he's not a bench player. Like, he's a rotational player too. To me, that's different. Like the season debut RSM, he started against Mallorca. So it's not that he's just a bench player, right? Like he didn't play that particularly great. But what are your thoughts on Fermin overall before we get into how you guys will use Fermin if it ends up happening? But what are your thoughts on Fermin specifically?
Yeah, so for me, like, I watched a lot of Barcelona, right? And I think Fermin, I'm not as down on him, I think, as a lot of people are. When you look at the way some people, I think Fermin is disrespected, is what I'll say, because I think he plays a very important role in the squad. I think he's good enough. I think he's in a tough position because in the Barca squad, he has somebody who is ahead of him in the pecking order, but he is a step above the rest of what you would consider bench quality players. He's a step above. And that's kind of the reality of where he's at right now in his career, and in what he can bring to a team, right? The only reason he's not starting, like I said, is because there's somebody better than him in the team, but he's way, way beyond just kind of sitting on the bench. I think what is surprising to me about the transfer, at least what I've seen from the Barca side, because I haven't really seen this reported from the Chelsea side, but
Right.
obviously, I think from the Barca side, it was reported that he was promised a starting position in the team, which I'm really struggling to understand how that
That's the thing
happens.
that I didn't understand, because let me get your thoughts on this, because to me it seems like he plays this around the same not I don't know if it's the same position, but he plays around the same area where Cole Palmer likes to play, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much like that. That the right 10, left 10. I think something. The only thing that I could think of in terms of being a promise starter, I don't see the promise starter, but in terms of position, if we're gonna get into talk a bit more about positional play, I think
Mm-hmm.
Fermin going forward, I think he's a really good goal scorer, and I think that's something that obviously that Chelsea last season we lacked when we went through that really bad patch where we couldn't score. Right, our defense was really good, but we couldn't score. We weren't winning games. We were drawing. We were losing. When I look at Fermin, right now we're looking at Xavi Simons, right? But what are we looking at Xavi Simons? Xavi Simons
Mm-hmm.
is well, with the way that we saw Maresca play in the Club World Cup is he has a system where at times we play with a double 10. One of the fullbacks becomes a winger almost, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
wingers tucks inside, and then we have two tens, a left 10 and a right 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that double 10 system, if we fail to
Yeah.
get Xavi Simmons, I could see Fermin playing that double 10 alongside Cole Palmer, right? He's a left 10, Cole Palmer's a right 10. I could easily see that happening. However, I don't, once again, I don't know necessarily because again, I haven't received the reports on our side. Obviously, it says that we've talked with the player, right? There's been
Mm-hmm.
reports from Barca side that that's also happened as well. So I do believe we talked to Fermin Lopez. Some of the reporting from Barca side is that he's going to the decision is imminent in the sense that within 48 hours we will know his stance on whether or not he wants to stay or leave Barca. On our side, I haven't really heard reporting that any decision is imminent. It seems to me at least that we are just kind of speaking with him, kind of gauging his interest. Where are you at right now with this Barca squad? Right? Are you looking
Yeah.
for another challenge, et cetera, et cetera? And yeah, that's the that's the I think Barca Time is the one who's been reporting on
Yeah,
it a
because
lot. So that's the one I've been following.
I really trust Barca Times, and even yesterday I made a video on Fermin Lopez and kind of giving my thoughts, right, my reaction video. But I said take it with a grain of salt, because Barca Times haven't said anything yet. I trust Barca Times, and ever since I published that video, Barca Times a few hours later after I made that video came up with this, and it says that I thought it was really interesting, because I thought this was all rumors, right? And it says Chelsea are preparing a 50 million bid, right, for Fermin, with Maresca already having spoken with the player twice. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything. Hansi Flick spoke with Nico Williams too. So just to put it in perspective, it says Barca tried to contact Fermin. I think that's what really eye
Yeah, he
opening to
didn't pick
me.
up the phone.
Yeah, Barca tried to contact Fermin all day, dude. Not even that means all day. What does it mean? Like it means more than once, right? But
Yeah.
there hasn't been any response from the side so far, interpreting a clear interest from the Chelsea offer compared to his current 6 million. So Chelsea is prepared to offer Fermin Lopez triple 15 million net salary compared to his current 6 million. Deco, however, it's firm that it's not selling him for any less than 70 million euros. So now I guess there's a 20 million difference between from what Chelsea may be willing to pay to what Barcelona may be willing to let him leave for. So what's your take on that? I mean, this has to be something, right? It's not just nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it's nothing. I think for me the interesting part is um for us the way that we have moved so far under Clear Lake is we do not go in for a player in terms of a bid until we feel that we have 100% full buy-in from the player themselves, right? So unless we feel that the player wants to come, the player is helping us push the move, then
Mm-hmm.
we're really not going to push for that. Something that I think is again with Spanish reporting, um that I've noticed is like again the guaranteed role starting position. I don't understand where that would necessarily be true because you're not starting. Nobody's starting above Palmer. I mean, the whole point of why we're trying to sell Nkunku is because Palmer took Nkunku's position
Mm-hmm.
as the starting 10
Yeah.
for the team. So I don't really see how that would happen. And in terms of tripling his salary, right? I think for me, Lopez right now, he's on around 66 million pounds, right?
Yeah.
And tripling that would bring him around 180. Palmer's not making 180. Like you're
Oh.
not like for me
How
that's the
much does he
bar,
make per
right?
year though? Because that's when you put it into full contract, can
Yeah,
get a
per
little foggy.
year.
But per
Yeah,
year, how much is he making?
so per year, right now I think for me he's making
No,
13.8 million
Fermin's
pounds
making
per year.
6, but I'm talking about Palmer. How much does he make per year? Do you know?
Palmer.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me
because
see.
that's kind of
Right
what.
now, yeah, right now everybody's salary is going up at Chelsea just because of the fact that we're in the UCL. So every
Hmm.
player's contract is incentivized. When you're in the UCL, I think you get a 15 to 20% a bump in your pay grade. So let me see.
Yeah,
Hopefully I could.
pull
There we
it
go. All
up
right.
because
So yeah, so Palmer's on 130. He's making 6.7 a year.
that's it.
Yeah, I
Six
told you
point
like
seven per year.
that's what I'm telling you. He's not making triple what Palmer like he's not. I don't say these reports are
Dude,
unfounded because we don't
if
operate like that anymore. We don't offer
I
those
think
salaries.
this I think this report may be bullshit then, because why would they pay 15 million for Fermin? I
And
guess
for
that's how
example,
they convincing him. As from the stories that I'm hearing, is that they
but
want to. That's
there's zero
more
shot
than
we're doing that.
that's
We didn't
even
even
more
want to
than
offer
Lamin.
Victor Osimhen anywhere near that money.
Huh?
We didn't even want to offer. That's a big part of the reason why we didn't get Victor Osimhen is we didn't want to pay him those type of wages.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, yeah. And Galatasaray paid a lot of money for him. That's
Yeah, they paid the wages he wanted. And for example, I'll give you this: Enzo Fernandez, right? One of the biggest earners at the club, in terms of the Clear Lake era, right?
yeah.
He's on 9.3 million pounds a year. Reese
9.3.
James is yeah. Reese James, taking away Sterling, right? Because Sterling was obviously a different time. When you look at Reese James, he's gonna be the highest paid player in the team. He's earning 13 million pounds a year.
See, now
So
RSM. See, now I'm more upset. We're paying Rashford 14 million. Like that puts it even in a worse perspective for me.
yeah,
I'm
we actually
even
like
more upset now.
taking away Sterling and taking away Ben Chilwell, who are like some of the higher earners at the club.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for example in Cuckoo, he's earning 195,000 a week, which is 10 million pounds a year. We're wanting to get rid of him and Sterling. So once you
Yeah,
take those two away, our wage bill is actually very, very low compared to the rest of the top six. We have
but
a very manageable wage bill. It's all
to
incentive based. It's all
yeah to
goals. It's all UCL based.
yeah, and to answer Thomas' question here, do you actually like Fermin as a player and as a squad fit
Yeah.
for your
So
club?
yeah. So for me, like I obviously like I watched a lot of Barca. I watched a lot of
Real
Madrid
Madrid.
as well. And when I look at one of the reasons why I believe Barca managed to win the league last season over a Madrid is because you guys had players like Fermin Lopez coming off the bench. I truly do believe that because there
Yeah.
was games where Madrid was struggling, and you look at Ancelotti, he didn't want to use the bench. Arda Guller was rotting on the bench. Endrick rotted on the bench. He didn't want to use him. Whereas Hansi Flick, he trusted Fermin. He said, listen, well, 60, 70th minute, we need a goal. Fermin, come on, get us something. And
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, he would respond. When I look at Fermin, I see the left 10 that we are looking at, right? That's why we're in for Xavi Simmons, right? That's why we're in. And for me, player depth in terms of having player depth in attack is always good. Because if Palmer goes in a bad run of form, now we have Steva, right? Now we could have somebody like Fermin Lopez or potentially Xavi Simmons. So in terms of a fit for the team, I do think he fits the team. Obviously, we're also play possession based, right? We're not like a transition based team 100% of the time. So I think that Fermin would slot in quite nicely, to be honest, in terms of play style, in terms of philosophy of play. For me, I wouldn't mind it because I think if we are going to push towards wanting to be a team that competes on all fronts, right, that wins Premier Leagues, that wins UCLs, we need players of the quality, in my opinion, of Fermin
Mm-hmm.
Lopez to
Yeah.
be a rotational option. For example, Andre Santos. Andre Santos as a midfielder was getting calls from Bayern. He was
Yeah.
getting calls from PSG. He had big teams after his signature, but we kept him at Chelsea, and he's an amazing option to come off the bench. It's one of those things where you look at City, right, and you used to say like, oh, look at City's bench. City's bench is stacked. Yeah, but that's what it takes to have a winning team, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly for 50 million, if we're able to get Fermin for 50 million, I'm not that upset, to be honest. And I think, unfortunately, obviously on your end, I don't think you guys are very good sellers. You guys tend
No,
to just kind of let
terrible.
players go for way under what they're worth, and then you tend to overpay for players that
It,
aren't really worth it.
yeah, we're always desperate, dude. One way or the other. It's like RSM. It's always like this. Like the problem right now with that La Liga represents, right? It's not just Barcelona, to be honest. This is La Liga in general. Is that it's struggling financially. And in
Yeah,
Barcelona, it's a big part of it. And everybody looks at Barcelona, but it's everybody. It's a Levante problem. It's a Getafe. It's a Villarreal.
it's an Atleti. Yeah, it's an Atleti
Athlete,
problem too.
everybody's having the same issues, but
Yeah,
it's like this. The Prem teams come to La Liga, right? They get great talent, but they like to come here and get these players because they get them on the cheap. Like if I know you have to make your house payment next month, and you're
Yeah.
asking me, if you're asking me $20,000 for your Rolex, dude, I know your Rolex is worth 20,000, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna give you $10,000 to $12,000 for it. Good luck
Yeah.
finding somebody else who's willing to unload that kind of money for your Rolex before your rent is due or before your house payment is due, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if somebody knows that you need to get rid of something, they're not going to give you the amount of money that you want. And then the same thing for Barcelona, for example.
And my question would be, how does it work for you guys in the Liga in terms of players that come from your academy and how that looks on the books when you sell them? Because in the Premier League, right, if you sell an academy player, it
Mm-hmm.
goes on your the way it works in FFP is basically if you sell them for 20 million, it registers as 60 million dollars pounds that you can use in the market. That is FFP wise. So that's why there's a very big incentive to like sell these academy players that you have because it's basically triple the profit.
Yeah, so this is Napoleon says those are 8-year contracts. I'm not sure, but what I do know is I don't know exactly the answer to that. To be honest with you, I don't know how it works, but I know Barcelona doesn't have any incentives to let these players go, man. And why should they? I mean,
Yeah.
for me, like if I'm looking at it from my perspective, right? From my perspective, as far as letting go for me, like I don't want to let Fermin go. Just it has to make sense, right? For me, one of I was saying my predictions was that Barcelona, like I remember my predictions. I need to do my predictions now after the transfer market ends because
Yeah.
like what's the point? Like I made a prediction extremely confident that we had Inigo Martinez, that we were gonna have Casado, we're gonna have
Yeah.
Fermin Lopez. I don't know what's gonna happen to these players. Hell, something can break right now, and Araujo could be shipped somewhere. Like I don't know. Like it's still up for grabs. Sometimes you
100%.
don't even hear anything, and
Yeah.
like the same thing happened with for me. Like one of my biggest talking points about my prediction, Barcelona wins back to back La Ligas, was because of depth, and I
Yeah.
thought
Of course.
we
Agreed.
have two players per position. And if we don't have Fermin, if you don't have Fermin, we have Olmo. If we don't have Olmo, we have Fermin. Like that's a
Yes.
luxury. That's an
And
incredible.
it's not a and this is what I'm saying. One of the big positives about Firmino and why I'm not um upset about it at all is, bro, when you lose Olmo and Fermin comes in, it's not that much of a drop off, guys. And
No,
for
no,
people don't understand how
no.
valuable that is to have in a squad. And I think because Barca has been very, blessed and fortunate to have a very good academy where
Mhm,
the people we have coming off the bench are of a certain quality. You
mhm.
guys, I feel like as a fan base, obviously I don't think you are, but I think a lot of people underrate what Fermin, the type of player Fermin really is, and what he
Sure.
represents for a title winning team.
I mean, I understand, right? Like to me, the only way it makes sense is if we get the right pricing. I mean, 50 million to me, like, I
That's a
mean,
bargain. That's a
that's a
bargain.
bargain, dude. Compared to what
We
other
sold Joao Felix for 50 million to Saudi, bro. Like,
exactly, bro, exactly. And then Fermin has Champions League experience. Some of these players don't have any Champions League experience, and I think to me, like the way I look at it, okay, the way it makes sense is if we get 70 million. I don't think Chelsea will pay for it. By the way, I don't think they would do it. I don't know if it makes sense for them, but it also doesn't make sense for Barcelona to move on from him. So that to me, that's
yeah,
why I think.
you're just weakening the squad for sure.
And if we talk about how ridiculous La Liga structure is when it comes to players, especially in Barcelona situation, they're not in the 1-1 rule. So that's very important. People, we have to understand Barcelona is not in the 1-1 rule. So what does that mean? So we sell for Fermin Lopez, right? Let's say we sell Fermin Lopez for 50 million to Chelsea. That's a bad deal in it of itself. So out of that sell, because of Barcelona, it's not in the 1-1 rule. Barcelona can only use like 20% of that money towards the cap. So it's very confusing in La Liga when it comes to the Prem, when it comes to like even Ligue 1 is so much different. Like
Yeah,
the restrictions are just insane, man. Like it's just ridiculous. So at that point, if we're only using 20%, what's the point of letting go of like a player who can literally be the future for the franchise and at least one of the pillars, right, going forward? I mean, for me,
yeah,
Lopez is like 20 years old, bro. Like, I mean, that's a player who is super, super young. By the time Fermin Lopez is 25, he's gonna be starting, and he is going to be worth at least 80 million. So why let him go now for 50 million. In my opinion, that it wouldn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially obviously, I think one of the reasons why Chelsea are in, and this is the way that we work, right? Is when we see a market opportunity, well, if we feel that like a player is potentially unhappy, right? If we feel like we can get the player to buy in and push the club for a move, then we
Mm-hmm.
want to do that, right? So for example, I mean, we did the same thing with the the left back that we got, Hato, right? He set out he set out a preseason game. He said, I
Mm-hmm.
want to go to Chelsea, get me the move, et cetera, et cetera. You look at, for example, what Isak is doing. Players have a lot more power now than they did in the past, right? These players can
Mm-hmm.
force moves. So if, whatever conversation, again, because I haven't seen any news from the Barca side as of now as to
Mm-hmm.
what the conversation between Hansi and Fermin ended up being.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Yeah. What's that?
So, no, we don't know what the conversation
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
as of now
exactly. So,
between Fermin and Hansi. So
and just to finish my point, like, to me, the only way it makes sense, and this is this comment right here, it sets it up perfectly. It says Barca desperate for a CB. Why is this sell happening? Why is this sell happening? So, like, to me, like, I feel like the only way it would make sense, right? It's that, let's say that we get 70 million, hypothetically speaking. I don't know if Chelsea is willing to go that far, but let's say we get him for 70, which is what we want, according to some reports that Deco wants 70. Okay, we sell him for that money. We go back to the 1-1 rule, while also, getting reinforcements at the CB, because Barcelona looks pretty bad on defense. And honestly, like, if we can get, let's say we can go get Hincapié, who wants to leave right now from Bayern Leverkusen, right? If we can go get him, for example, that would make sense to me. Like, okay, we're letting go of a golden player, like somebody who can really do a lot of things for the club going forward. And but we're also getting reinforcement that are going to help us this season. So we're going to get a little weaker at the 10, but we're getting stronger in the backfield. So to me, that would make sense, even if we don't want to let him go. And even if we let him go for 60, but if we can still afford like a Bastoni, for example, then I would say, you know what, that's okay, because even though we're letting go of a player for the future, at least we're good right now. We're better right now. But if let's say Fermin just leaves for money and we just have 20% of that money into the cap and the money in the bank, what does that money give us right now for what we need to have or strengthen the team, right?
Yeah. I did my issue is I just really struggled to see, because I think, if you guys get the 70, then that's Hincapié money, and I think that makes you guys very, very strong in that back line, because not only is Hincapié an amazing center back, not
He
only
would
can
fit in perfectly
obviously,
with Flick, by the way.
he would fit in perfectly. He has good, amazing in the air. He's one of the top goal scorers, off of set pieces for Bayer Leverkusen. Same thing for Ecuador. He's an amazing aerial threat, great crossing ability, good overlap, and not only that, he can fill in that left back. If you guys, if you need cover, if there's an injury, boom, easy, simple. You hear what I'm saying?
That was my bad. Actually, I think I timed out. I think I was lagging there. What's that?
Okay. Oh no. I said at the end of the day, when if you need rest, he can also play left back.
Mm-hmm.
He can slot in at left back. He's played left back for Leverkusen. He's played left back for Ecuador, and I think that he would be an amazing acquisition for you guys. The question is that worth selling for me? That's a completely different question. And obviously, I think there's I think it's very. I've seen the Barca fan base very united in that a lot of people are against selling him. Nobody wants to sell him.
Yeah. What would you say, RSM, to right now to 50 million? As far as look at it from Barcelona's perspective, what it would say is we are probably in a worse situation financially than we actually think, because if we look at it back into perspective, right? They told us we were going to be back in the 1-1 rule after that Nike deal. Then they told us we are going to be back at the 1-1 rule with the VIP seats. None of those two things have happened. We're still under the 1-4 rule.
You guys are you guys even in your new stadium yet?
No, it's
no,
right now.
So the VIP seats aren't even like a factor. You're not making money off of it.
Exactly. We can't. So we're in a bad situation, but we may be in a worse situation, because they told us, Laporta said, we're not in the 1-1 rule because we don't want to be in the 1-1 rule right now. Silly me, I believe that. I want to believe in this club, and I want, I love this club to death. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful. Like I'm okay. So maybe we're back in the 1-1 rule, and we're not because we don't want to be. And all of a sudden, dude, we need to sell players. And if we sell Fermin Lopez to 50, the first thing I'm thinking is we are worse in a financial situation. It's worse than we think.
Yeah. It's tricky because you guys have been told so many things about your financial situation. And I at this point in time, I don't think there's any Barca fan that at this point should believe every single thing Laporta says. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I think if anybody continues to believe what Laporta says, I think you're kind of a
I
naive
know.
person.
I'm
You're very
delusional,
naive.
bro.
I
I
think
need help, dude. I
Laporta,
believe Laporta when he tells me something. I gotta get help.
bro. I just think Laporta is covering up a very very difficult situation. I think that you guys obviously I think you guys obviously need money somehow. Otherwise, Chelsea wouldn't be there. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. The way that we move in the market is we smell blood, we chase the opportunity. That's what we do. If we smell an
It's
opportunity,
like a
we're
yard
there.
sale. It's like a yard sale. You have a lot of cash in your hand. You go yard sale hopping just to see what you find.
Exactly. And I'd be interested to know as well, by the way, because Chelsea, one of the things that is very well known about us, I think we're one of the top teams in the world in terms of the amount that we pay agents. We have very, very strong connection with agents, by the way. So I'd love to know who is Fermin Lopez agent, and is he an agent of a player that Chelsea has bought? Because if so, then I'm not surprised if the agent said, listen, Fermin, maybe he's a bit unsettled. We're looking to see if there's any options, right? I wouldn't be surprised. But I think Barca would be fools to accept a $50 million offer from us. It is very
So
that's too low, especially in this market with the
I
age
know
bracket
it's
that he's in,
very
with
low.
the experience that he has. 50 is, bro. I mean, 50 is like you pay potential for a player that had one season, right? Like for me, is a lot more experience than that.
Yeah. So I want to switch topics for a little bit. I know you have to leave at exactly like 1 hour point, and whenever you have to leave, by the way, that's totally fine. I'll just hang out with the chat or whatever. But big up Dali here, man, guys. If you haven't liked this stream, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate it, man. And RSM, man, go subscribe to him. That would mean a lot to me as well. And what I do want to get your thoughts on, I have Dali in the house here. I don't know if he's still watching, but I do want to ask you, as somebody who's not a Madrid fan, somebody who's not a Barcelona fan, this is why people think I'm a super biased person, right? Like, but I like bringing on voices that are not Real Madrid or Barcelona, like you. And I want to ask you, what's your prediction as far as like who wins La Liga, especially after 2 match days, right? They're coming on, and honestly, I've been vocal. I've said, Barcelona. I don't, until I'm proven otherwise, until I can see Xavi Alonso make Vinicius and Mbappe work. I know Mbappe is working like he's playing like he's on killer mode. Okay, let's just put it that way. But he scored like I think it's like 14 out of the last 16 Real Madrid goals, just something ridiculous. I mean, they have relying on him incredible, like it's incredibly so much. But from your perspective, what's your prediction? Who do you think is going to take it and why?
Yeah. So for me, the way I look at it is I've watched both games so far that Madrid and Barca have played, and I think that Barca are looking similar to what I saw last season. When I watched the Barca game too at halftime, shout out Omar. I was on Omar's stream and I told him at halftime, this stinks to me of 3-2 Barca, and he didn't want to hear it. And I told him I watched almost every. I told him
you called it out.
I called it. And you know why? I watched almost every single Barca game last season, and it's the same story almost every time.
First half, as a Barca
go
fan,
down,
you don't think it's gonna happen. It happens every time. But as a Barca fan, you're just looking at the 0-2, and you're like, no, this time we can't do it, right? We can't do it this time. Not again.
Yeah, surely not again. But I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously, you guys definitely need to fix that. I think that's a weak point in the team. But first halves, I mean, you guys, you come out slow, you give teams opportunities. But I knew that the comeback was going to happen. And for me, and I'm going to say the same thing that I said about Liverpool. When Liverpool won against Newcastle, those are the signs of champions. Whether people like to say it or not, when you go down in the game, right? When you are struggling and you're able to claw it back and get victory. And I mean, both games, by the way, basically, stoppage times goals, daggers in the last few minutes. those are the sign of champions, right? And I have not seen a performance from Madrid so far, right? Of course, it's very early in the season, but I haven't seen anything so far from Madrid that would lead me to believe that they're going to be a better team over an entire season than Barca in the league. And this is me being honest. In the past decade, Madrid haven't been an amazing league team. They haven't.
Yeah.
It's been way more Barca being a better team in the league. Madrid have obviously been amazing in the UCL. Take away nothing from them, but you know, in terms of the league, they've never been an amazing league team. And
they play great against Oviedo, bro. But let's say it for what it is. A recently promoted team.
It's Oviedo.
They still had issues. Like it was one. I know they dominated. Okay, they dominated. I'll give you that. But it was 1-0, and I can't forget the midfielder's name. He hit the post. He hit the woodwork. Can you imagine how that went in? That would have been chaos in the 80th minute, dude. That's what happens when you're just winning a game 1-0. Of course, right? They take over the game right after that play. 1 minute later, Mbappe, you know, whatever. You know, he took over the game. That's fine. But it's just kind of like signs that are telling me, in my opinion, like I'm dead honest. If Real Madrid, like, okay, I have an issue with Will, and you know Will, because Will is like, he thinks Barcelona, Real Madrid is better than Barca, but like he sees it as a bad thing that I said, no, why? Until we've proven otherwise, it's not. He's like, no, well, you're not going to say if we were. And I'm like, yes, when Xavi Hernandez got fired, I said it. Real Madrid was a better team. They had just won La Liga. They won the Champions League. Why wouldn't I say going forward?
No, but it's because Will is Will kind of tells on himself when he says that, because he's never going to admit that Barca is better. So because he can't do it, he believes that other people can't do it. And it's like, no, we can.
At that point, it was obvious that Real Madrid was better. Now, Real Madrid was better. Did they win La Liga? No. Hansi Flick came into this team and totally changed the game. And look at what we're able to do. She's really flipped the script. But I didn't see it coming. Like, now, it's fine if you want to say, you know, my prediction is that Real Madrid will win La Liga. I'll buy it. You know, it's your prediction. But to say that they are better without any substantial evidence that they're literally better, like I said, the game against Oviedo, to me, they still have that issue with they don't have a creative midfielder. And they think that Arda Güler is that creative midfielder. But the problem is he doesn't create as much as people think. And he is great. He's a baller. Okay, He's really good. I love him. I wish he was at Barca. You know, Barca almost got him. But I think he's the perfect number 2 for your number 1 creative midfielder. He would just fit in like a puzzle. But they don't want
a lot more of like a goal scorer than he necessarily is a creator, in my opinion. I think some of the shots that he tries to take is more to create. He wants to create shots more than he wants to create like chances. And when I look at that Madrid team, I do see a lot of weaknesses. And I've said this before too. Like, again, I remember having this conversation before last season with Will, where he tried to sell me that Jude Bellingham was some sort of a creative monster. And I told him he isn't. Like, Jude is not. He's not the guy you think he is. And I mean, obviously last season proved it, and it continues to be the case.
And Dali says, can't the same logic be used on the own goal that if it didn't go in for Barca? I guess so. I mean, that's a fair point. But like I said, it could be a warning sign. Like right now, for all I know, like I'm saying it right now, like I'm a little worried about the backfield. I don't want to be climbing down 0-2 every single game. I don't think we've started the season particularly well. But to me, I think we still, you know, if we look at in terms of what we did last season to what we can do this season, to me, like I still think we'll be really tough to beat going forward. And Real Madrid will be too, to their credit, you know what I mean? But I still want to see it. I'm not saying Real Madrid won't win La Liga, or I'm not saying that they are not better. They could very well, at the end of the season, be better than Barca this season. I've even gone as far as to say that, you know, that I think this is the year for Real Madrid, because Barcelona is in a bad situation financially. We couldn't get like real reinforcements, right? We got Rashford alone just because we barely could afford it. We got Rooney Barty. We couldn't really get reinforcement. In an ideal situation, we should have gotten Hincapié, somebody who can reinforce the defense, or Bastoni, but we don't have the money. But I think Barcelona, when they open the Camp Nou next season, we will have that money, and we'll be able to use all the money we made from last season.
You're going to use it on a striker.
We are going to have money for a striker, and we're going to have money for a CB. So I think 2026, 2027, Barcelona is going to be so much better than right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid wins La Liga this season, but until I'm proving that, I don't see it. I still see the struggles, but I'm not trying to be biased. You know, that's why I bring you on, and then you tell me, like, do you see a realistic chance of that Real Madrid can actually win La Liga this season?
Yeah, I do see a way, because I do think that the backline of Barca, like you said, is questionable, and it can be got at. And in certain games, you're going to come away with draws where you should have gotten, wins. And in a title race against Real Madrid, that could be iffy. And I mean, you even look at last season, right? There was a point where Madrid was, clear in terms of the top of the table. Madrid dropped the ball.
Their defense does look good, though, right? I mean, their defense looks really good.
Yeah, their defense looks good. My issue is the creativity coming from the midfield. It isn't
exactly.
there. When you look at some of the chances that I see Madrid creating. Hoyson has some of the best passes out of that entire team.
Dude, I had Neil Gardner, dude, one of the best Barcelona voices on X, right? He was saying that Dean Housen literally looked like Toni Kroos for Real Madrid. That's how much this guy is doing.
I'm telling you, bro. Hoyson was the best passes in the game, and I think that is going to become an issue eventually for Madrid. And for me, when I look at Madrid, I don't think that. I think if they do have a chance to win the league, it's going to come down to how quickly can Xabi Alonso get the team together. And I say this, and this is what I told Will when Xabi Alonso came in, because I followed Leverkusen, and I said this: Xabi Alonso, when it comes to managing a league campaign, is amazing. He's a very, very good league manager, and I think he's proven that. My big question for him as well, and I told Will this, is I question, however, how he's going to do in the UCL with Madrid, because his resume so far in Europe isn't necessarily amazing. It isn't. Europa, again, is a lower level competition.
Right.
He made the final and got destroyed in the final. You look at the UCL last year, he got absolutely dunked out of the UCL by Bayern, unceremoniously. Fell apart in the league. Didn't really get a League Cup going. So when I look at that happening, that's when I start questioning how quickly can Xabi Alonso get it together.
Yeah.
If he can get it together quick enough that he can mount a challenge for Hansi Flick. If he cannot mount a challenge for Hansi Flick, then I think Hansi Flick, even with all the weaknesses that Barca do have, Barca are still just a way, way better team than basically every other team. And I think that at this moment in time, I would argue that Barca have more X factor players than a Madrid.
Yeah.
And obviously, people would say, "Oh, but Vinny hasn't been an X factor player in almost an entire year."
Yeah.
Bro. He's been
last game was his first away game, a goal since October last season.
Yeah, bro, and that's what I'm telling you. And even Rodrigo, who you could consider at one point in time was an X factor player, right? He's on the bench. Jude Bellingham, he's not scoring the same goals he was because he's not playing the same position. I don't necessarily consider him an X factor player anymore, right? Somebody like Rudiger, who is an X factor player, isn't playing at the same level he used to be. So when I look at all these players, I would argue right now that Barca have better X factor players at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is going to, as of right now, why I have them as favorites in the league.
Yeah. All right, guys, 65 people here. Please like the stream. There's only 24 likes. If you guys can help me out, go subscribe always to RSM as well, to his channel, man. He's fire content, honestly. But yeah, no, man. What I do want to say though, in terms of like Real Madrid, like to me, why I thought Real Madrid wasn't going to be able to win La Liga this season, it was in terms of question marks. They have Vinicius Junior, right? That immediately looks like a spark to the team. Like, I don't know if it was the Mastantuono, Rodrigo combination, but that looked so much better. But actually, before I do that, before I say that, I ask you that, I want to say, dude, big up Rano, man. That super sticker, man. I really, truly appreciate it. I don't get a lot of these, so I really want to say thank you so much. But yeah, so what are your thoughts though on those question marks? I said that's a question mark. Rodrigo was upset after the Vinicius came in, and he came in with like a chip on his shoulder, right? He did kind of change the game there, but at the same time, some stories are coming out that he wants to leave now. I don't know if those rumors are true, but one thing that I think may be true is that it's not sitting well with him that he got benched in this game. But what are your thoughts on kind of like those question marks for Real Madrid going into the season?
I mean, I think it's very clear and I said this before, and I think this is even for me. I think at some point in time, I was saying, "Oh, I would take Rodrigo at Chelsea," but now I question his mentality. I mean, when you've been told so, in my opinion, in everything but words, that you are not in the plans for the team, and you continue to still want to be in the team, I question your mentality at that point, right? Like, I think you are okay with being a side piece, and at this point in time, what Chelsea need are people who are willing to take a game by the scruff of the neck, right? Want to be the face of a team, and he doesn't strike me as that type of player.
How's he even okay? How's he haven't even said anything about being benched at the whole Club World Cup, dude? He played like one game, and then
he played the group stage game and nothing else.
Until everyone was talking about it, he got minutes for the last game. We played like a half.
Yeah, it's for me personally. I just that's obviously a situation that they're going to need to resolve. Even then, when I look at Madrid, I'm still have questions because, like you said, what happens when Mbappe isn't firing on all cylinders, like you said?
I know.
Because as of right now, they're heavily reliant
extremely. Dude. Even last season, he was carrying them when they were playing really bad. He was literally carrying the team, scoring. He would win 1-0,
finishing
and
the half
Mbappe would
chances,
score.
et cetera, et cetera. Yep. But for me, that's where I think that Madrid need to solve that, and I think they're also in a difficult position because obviously they give Endrick the number 9, but if we're being quite honest, Gonzalo Garcia is a better 9 than Endrick at this moment in time, and I don't think it's crazy to say that.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's that consensus it's already. I don't think anyone would argue with that right now. But my problem is, I was told that Xavi stacked this or whatever, and then he brought in Gonzalo Garcia and left Mbappe at the 9 and put him on the left wing, and Vinicius Jr. In the other game against Osasuna. So I'm like, dude, why are we still doing this? Is Mbappe just solely going to play at the 9 now? Because that was a perfect situation where you could have put Gonzalo Garcia at the 9 and have Mbappe on the left. Dude, Mbappe would score. I think would score a lot more goals if he would just play his position.
He'd also be more creative. I argued that would fix some of the creativity issues.
Exactly.
Because I don't think necessarily that Mbappe is creative in terms of his passing, but I think his dribbling creates opportunities. And in that sense, I do think he's a creative player because his ability to get by man creates opportunities. He can't really do that at the 9. You're just relying on him for his finishing ability, which is fine because he's a great finisher. But that is going to cost you across the season not having the ability to unblock these low blocks that you are going to be facing constantly. And another issue I think for Madrid is the defensive situation, right? Because I mean I've always said this about Trent. I think Trent is amazing going forward. I think he's an amazing player. What he can provide going forward, but defensively, I don't think Trent is. I don't think Trent is some defensive wall that you can never get past, bro.
Trent, let me tell everyone something, okay? Trent, be ready to warm the bench at Real Madrid, bro, because Carvajal came in out of a year off and looks younger and fresher and better than him. So he better get ready.
Bro, but that's what I've always said about Trent, and this is why I think that Reece James is clear for Trent. The thing I need my right back and left back to do most is defend. Everything else is a positive. At least know how to defend. If you can't defend, then I have issues with you. And that's, for example, the same issue that I have with a player like Frank Pong, who's a wing back. You're going to get caught out defensively constantly for Leverkusen. Constantly, because he loves to bomb forward. And he doesn't necessarily know how to cover back. And I do think that those are going to be positions. I think if Trent plays fullback, in El Clásicos, that's food right there. That's food. That's a dinner. You could have a 5-star meal on Trent's head with the amount of opportunity that he's going to be coughing up. Because I don't think he's good. I don't think he's amazing defensively. And with the way that Barca attack, I think he could easily be a point that you could exploit. It's down to Hansi Flick, obviously, to do that. In the same way, for example, that Enzo Maresca targeted Nuno Mendes' side during the Club World Cup. All 3 goals came down his side, right? When you see a weakness in the team, hammer it. And for me personally, I see no bigger weakness than Trent down that down that left hand side for Barca.
For real, man. I know you only got a few minutes, and let me know if you have to leave. But I did wanted to touch on the Ballon d'Or discussion for a minute. Just even if it's real quick. I know we talked about this last time, and I know a lot has happened ever since then, right? But the final rankings, right? They came out, and right now it's obviously Dembele, right? That's number 1. then Lamine Yamal's number 2, and Mbappe. And Mbappe came in a number 3 with the Golden Boot, I guess. After not winning anything, he's still better than Salah. I just don't understand. He's still better than Rafinha. I also don't understand that as well. I think that's a disrespect on Rafinha. I mean, if Mbappe would have won everything that Rafinha won, and with the numbers that Rafinha had, where would Mbappe be in this discussion? He would probably be even number 1 or number 2, right? Like the fact that he's number 3, to me, I think it speaks volumes. That's a huge disrespect on Rafinha. I mean, and apparently from Score 90, right? It says our final 2025 Ballon d'Or ranking. So this is literally it, bro. This is literally that they're saying that basically Dembele. But what are your thoughts on overall the ranking? And do you think it's a clear winner? I think, dude, I've told people already, do not be surprised if somehow, some way, Lamine ends up, scooping this, because I've seen a lot of journalists who actually, they're the ones who have the votes. A lot of them are saying that Lamine is the best player in the world. So I don't know if that means they're going to vote for him or not, but at least that's something worth telling, because the only thing I will say before you go, Arsene, it's like my problem with Dembele, right? And I think I think Barcelona, I think it was Busquets who just came out and said he hopes Dembele wins it. And that's fine to me, by the way. If it's fine if Dembele wins it. My problem is, if it's because of goals, Rafinha has more goals. If it's because titles, well, and that Vitinha has more titles. And if we're going to talk about performances, then Lamine Yamal has better performances than Dembele. And when Dembele didn't play, how important was he to this team? They didn't miss a beat. They still won everything. He was injured during a crucial point of the Champions League, and nothing ever happened. So, but what are your thoughts? Just, I know it's going to be your final thoughts, but give me your final thoughts as far as this whole thing.
Yeah. So, for me personally, like I said, I think we spoke about this before too. I think obviously the Ballon d'Or as time has gone on has become a lot more murky in terms of what necessarily is the criteria for it. I think if he wants to go best player in the world, I think Lamine Yamal is very clearly the best player in the world. And I don't think that there's any real argument about that at this moment in time. If you want to go with achievements throughout a season, including trophies and including goals, right? Then I think Dembele, though, has a way better record in terms of the goals and the performances and the trophies than Vitinha. Because Vitinha was a key player, but in the Gene era, Gene always is going to count more.
Right.
So when you so you need to add up all three, right? And when you add up all three, Dembele ends up with the highest tally, even if he isn't number 1 in any individual category. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like there's somebody in every individual category has been better than him, but when you combine everything, he ends up with the biggest sum total. So if you're looking at the Ballon d'Or that way, then yeah, Dembele has the most points if you want to look at it to add up to the biggest sum. But if you want to be best player, then it's gonna be Lamine Yamal. And I really think it comes down to, like you said, what are the reporters feeling, right? What is the last image that they have of said players before they go into into the voting? Because as much as they're not supposed to take into account anything that happened after the voting period ends, it just never happens. It's never the case. So with the way that the season started as well, I think Lamine has had better performances. Dembele's had very, very poor performances to begin the season. And obviously the Club World Cup was heavy. He did little to nothing. He got absolutely clamped up.
And that's when they needed him the most, because they weren't playing as good as they were in the Champions League. So that's when they needed him the most, and that's to me, that's kind of what speaks volumes too.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Lamine Yamal ends up winning it. But on the other side, I wouldn't be surprised if Dembele ends up winning it. Who do I think is going to win it? I think, obviously we speak about reporters. I do think we have to take into account that the Ballon d'Or is a French, is a trophy provided by the French. So obviously they have a major incentive, if you want to look at it that way, to give it to a French player who plays at PSG. However, I do think that Lamine Yamal is a lot more popular. He's a lot more well-liked, and he's a lot more revered, if you want to look at it in that sense, in terms of the way that people speak about him, the way that people look at him. He's the most exciting player in world football. So it's probably going to be close. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we get the voting numbers and they ended up being very, very close. If you ask me who I want to win it, I always want the best player in the world at that moment in time to win it. And I feel like over the last year, Lamine Yamal has been the best player in the world. He hasn't necessarily put up the goal performances. But when I look at a player, like Ronaldinho was never putting up insane amounts of GNA. Ronaldinho was getting outscored by Frank Lampard in the midfield of the Prem. That doesn't mean that I think that Frank was better than Ronaldinho at any point in time. When I look at it, it should be for me, who's the best player in the world, who inspired people, right? Who was the one who made people get out of their seats? That's the way I always look at it. I think it's always unfair to judge people on the trophies necessarily as a sole thing, because there's only so much you can do with 10 other people. You're one individual on the pitch, but I think as much as one individual can do, Lamine Yamal did as much as he could do.
Yeah.
In the last year.
So let me ask you something. Do you have to leave?
No, I have a couple more.
Okay,
minutes.
so I want to ask you something. Give me your thoughts on the Club World Cup, man, because I remember Jonas was the one who actually said, I think Chelsea's going to win it, because I think they're the one who taking it more seriously. But the fact that you went out and beat PSG like that, man, that must have felt extremely satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was in the stadium in person, and it was definitely one of the.
I remember.
Yeah, it was definitely.
I watched your vlog, by the way.
Bro, it was a bucket list moment in my life to watch my team lift the trophy alive in my home state.
Did you actually think you were gonna win when you went to the stadium?
Yes.
I
went about the ticket. I think yes, and I've always said this. You know how we speak about heritage and clubs, right? Mm-hmm. People have always said like heritage cannot be winning. Winning isn't heritage. That's not really a sort of heritage. When you look at like Man City, right? The reason why people necessarily don't respect Man City 100% as a club is because when you look at Man City, like, okay, winning is cool, but what are their fans like? What is the core of the club? And something that is Chelsea heritage is showing up as the underdog and winning. When everybody counts us out, we show up. We put up a performance. When everybody's counting, we were down and out, Chelsea shows up. We're amazing underdogs, and I believe. And I mean, you can, and people are welcome to go to a stream that I did even I think 2 days before the final. And I think I literally still have it as a background. Right here, wartime. You see?
yeah, I do.
This is my background. This is my background. I did a stream where I told everybody I don't care what everybody else has to say about my team. I know that we have the tools to on any day beat anybody, and I told everybody too, and nobody believed me. People laughed at me when I said it. I think we have one of the best midfields in the world. I think we have one of the best midfields in the world. When you look at Cole Palmer, when you look at Enzo Fernandez, when you look at Caicedo, they are exceptional in their positions. And as a total
game, dude! What a game for Cole Palmer! The scores like that, dude. He could have had 3 goals in the first half easily.
Yeah, there's 8. I think now that's 8 GNA, in 6 finals for Cole Palmer. I mean that's insane. He's basically scored or assisted in every single final he's been in except for one. And that's a big game player. That's somebody who shows up in the big moments. So when I look at the final, I think Enzo Maresca obviously got it completely spot on. Like the game plan was excellent. Suffocate them in the midfield. Vitinha, João Neves, right? Fabinho Ruiz, they couldn't breathe. Caicedo was on them.
Dude, Caicedo, bro. I texted you. I texted and I said, dude, Caicedo, man. Oh my lord, dude. He really dominated João Neves. He pocketed Vitinha and João Neves together, bro. Like oh my god. Dude, I haven't seen them get this mental like that, like all year round.
Yeah, no, I mean, nobody saw. Nobody Prem teams, by the way, they were unbeaten. They beat every single Prem team that they had faced that season. And I think it showed that this PSG side isn't as invincible as everybody thought it was. And I mean, even Spurs were able to take them to the wire, right? And that's why I do believe that if Barca had made it to the final, they would have won. I'm telling you that right now. If Barca made it to the final, you would have won. I'm telling you right now, bro.
I know it would have been fireworks. We were robbed of the best final of all time, dude. Both teams playing punch for punch.
The thing that I gotta say is you guys did it to yourselves. All you need to do is pass around the ball in the back. That's it. Waste time.
And I mean, Yamal took that shot. It hits the post. What if that would have went in though? That would have been. I mean, that would have been an insane goal by him too. I mean, it's hard to put it on him like that.
100%. I think one of the things that I look at it is we did to PSG what PSG did to every other team pretty much. We absolutely decimated, ended the game in the first half, and just saw out the second half. And I mean, a lot of people speak about and a lot of people spoke about PSG. They've been classy. They've been this. Look at Luis Enrique. Look at the red card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like these guys completely lost their head.
Yeah.
That they got dismantled. They got destroyed in a way that nobody else had done to them that season.
Exactly.
Absolute head loss. And that's one thing. I think if you are a team that can, this is why for me there is no favorite to win the Champions League this season. I truly believe it's
Beauty of
anybody's
sports.
win.
That's the beauty of sports. You know, I went as far as to say that Chelsea has a realistic chance to win in the Prem this season, because I'm looking at dude, I didn't make predictions on my channel because I'm on Barca. I cover Barca, but on Chaos, I did say, you know what, you know, winning the preseason doesn't always mean you're gonna win winning the off season doesn't mean you're gonna win during the season. And like the way that Liverpool spent all that money, and I'm like, that's just because they got Florian Wirtz, because they got a ticket. You doesn't mean that you're gonna have just walk through everybody. And look, both games they won the last 2 games, but they were both struggling and needed a last minute goal.
They conceded 4 goals in 2 games. That's not good.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Chelsea didn't start particularly great too, because they didn't win their first game, right? They only won their second game.
Yeah, I think it's a very big loss in terms of losing Cole in that backline, because you look at what Cole was doing in that final against PSG. I think Cole was really growing into the player that I think a lot of Chelsea fans thought he would be. So losing him is definitely a major loss, and I think a blow to the title expectations that I think maybe Chelsea fans, including myself, had this season. But I think we're still going to be a competitive team. And like I said before, I think because for me, I'm looking at the Champions League and I'm saying there's no reason we can't win it. There's no reason we can't win it. When I look at what we were able to do against PSG, right, who is an ultra attacking team, you look at the wing backs, right, you look at their front line, fluid, et cetera, et cetera. If we can beat PSG, I think we can beat Barca, right? If we can, and that's the way that I look at it. And again, that's not any disrespect to Barcelona.
No.
You guys are, that's not gonna be an easy game. It's just like, but when it comes to the Champions League, you know, anything can happen. And that's why I think, I think Barca is a strong contender. Bayern is looking really, really good, right?
Really good.
Chelsea, Liverpool, you know what I'm saying? I think that these are some of the favorite teams. And people are going to say Real Madrid, and I've said this before, Xabi Alonso needs to show me that he can compete in Europe, because his record in Europe, he's not looked amazing. So he needs to prove to me, and like you said before, even with the league, right? Until I see otherwise, I don't necessarily think Madrid is this major dark horse that everybody thinks they are under Xabi Alonso. Again, under Xabi Alonso.
Exactly, man. And that's the thing with me too. Like the way I looked at Chelsea like this season, I thought it was pretty scary. And I told I don't know if you have you heard of Stream Dave? We had a conversation, and I asked him, do you think Madrid and Barca can beat Chelsea right now? And the reason why I asked that question was because I do see Chelsea as a tough team to beat right now. Probably one of the toughest teams to beat. Like, look, they won the Club World Cup, so they're going to be. That was my problem to begin with the Club World Cup thing, because that means, you know, they're going to be the best team for 4 years, but we have the Champions League solution to me. But what I do want to say though is, like, I think Chelsea is very tough to beat, and what Dave said, you know, I think both, you know, Real Madrid and Barcelona will struggle against Chelsea because of their physicality and their defense. But sure, he said, if you ask me, I think Barcelona has a much better shot at beating them, just because of creating. We'll be able to create just a lot more than Real Madrid would right now as we stand. But I do think that Chelsea is looking really, really good for next season, I think. And I was a little shocked when you said 20% to win the Prem, because I feel like Chelsea has a realistic shot, and 20% to me, it's better than people think, but I think I give him maybe 35%.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I think the way I want to look at it, and I think I don't know if I said this to you as well. I think Chelsea, unfortunately, in the past decade, right, and in the past years since we last won the Prem, we have gone through a very, very high period to begin seasons, and then around December, January, where the fixtures get very congested in the Premier League, we start having a fall off, and that's been consistent almost every single season. So until I see us kind of break that, right, I'm still going to be a little skeptical in terms of, are we going to be able to keep it up in an entire season? But I do expect us to be a lot better this season in the league. Like, I think it'd be, for me, I want to finish above City. I don't think City is as great as everybody says. When I look at City, I think that their back line is absolute food for anybody with a strong attack. And that's just me being respectful, saying it how it is. That, I mean, that back line is not amazing. when I look at the midfield does not have, without Rodri, the midfield has no solidity defense, no solidness. The Nico Gonzalez kid, he's not what everybody made him out to be, right? Reinders is amazing going forward.
He's good. He's good.
But defensively, the way I look at him is he's like an Enzo. He needs a Caicedo next to him. He cannot hold down the midfield defensively, and Turkey is not doing that. Turkey's another attacking player, and then they play Marmoush on the wings. Brother, they have like 4 10s on the pitch. Who is defending? Nobody. This is why in transition you can absolutely destroy City. You can press them. They have no DM. They basically have no DM. Big up Barca Reacts, man. That's my guy. Big up Jonas.
I know. Big up Jonas, man. You go subscribe to Jonas as well, and subscribe to RSM, man, for being here, man. What, past an hour, man. I really, this has been a great conversation, man. We need to do this more often, most definitely.
I'm telling you, man. I'm excited, and people have been talking about it in all the group chats out of the Premier League group chats I'm in, and some Chelsea fans are like, I want to see because Willer is in the group chats and he riles people up. And the Chelsea fans are like, I want to see Madrid. And I'm like, I'm tired. Every day Madrid in the UCL, I'm tired. I'm like, give me a Barca. Let me run back PSG. Give me somebody else. I'm tired of every time Chelsea's in the Champions League, I'm seeing Madrid. I'm tired.
I know, dude. I know. And you guys have very realistic chance of drawing Madrid tomorrow. It's really, I thought it was going to be today. I thought it was going to be today, and it's tomorrow. Barcelona has a very good chance of drawing Chelsea as well, both Real Madrid and Barcelona. So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be fun tomorrow. We're probably I don't know if I'm gonna do a live thing after or something, but at least I'm gonna make a video about a reaction to like what teams we're drawing. But going in terms of the Champions League, man, you can tell me if you have more time, kind of what you expect for Chelsea next season as far as the Champions League is concerned. But if you have to leave, then I understand.
Yeah, no. For me, when I look at the Champions League for Chelsea, I want to make the quarterfinals minimum. Obviously depends. If we draw like a PSG or a Bayern Munich in the round of 16, it'll be very unfortunate, but it kind of is what it is, right? I mean, that's kind of out of our control. But I would like to make the quarterfinals minimum, and I don't think that that's crazy to say. I think that this team, this Chelsea team, has made a finals in back-to-back years, right? Like, we are a very good cup team, and I expect it to continue. On any given day, we can beat anybody. And even if we can't beat them, we can make ourselves very, very difficult to get by. Very solid defensively, right? If we want to
very solid. That's what I like. It's kind of like that Real Madrid DNA, like first defense first. And Chelsea has been historically so good on defense, and defense is always the one thing that Chelsea likes. Remember that Iniestazo, right? And that game. I didn't even know how we were gonna break through that goal, and we got it from outside the box. It's probably the only way we could have done it.
100%, yeah, 100%. And for me, that's when I look at people speak about Chelsea's defense isn't that good, but dude, I look at our defense and I'm looking at Cucurella. I think is one of the best fullbacks, is one of the best left backs in the world, and I think that's safe to say. I look at Reece James. I think Reece James is an amazing fullback going forward, defensively as well, very solid. I think Cucurella and Reece James can stand up to any fullback pairing in the world. I think the only ones that can chat to them is Barca PSG. That's it. I think Barca PSG, Chelsea, best fullbacks in the world, like bar none. I don't think any other team has better fullbacks than those 3 teams. So when I look at that, that's what I'm saying. When I look at the piece we have, when I look at a player like Palmer, right? When people always say, does Palmer show up in big games? I'm telling you right now, and I guarantee this, for the rest of his career, anytime Chelsea makes a final, Cole Palmer's gonna win it for us. He's that type of player that I'm that confident. Like,
he's the moments guy, right?
When people think it's crazy, Cole Palmer right now is en route to beating Drogba's final record that he had when he was at Chelsea. Like, this is the track that this kid is on right now. So, and that's what I'm saying. I'm super confident that if we make another final, I trust us to win it. For the Champions League, though, like I said, quarterfinals. If we make the final, though, I think we have to take it. We have to take the final.
It's really interesting with Cole Palmer, in my opinion, because he's such a great player, dude. Like, and sometimes, like, you just go to wonder, like, what happened in this game, what happened in that game. Like, he just doesn't seem to bring it on every single game, but the stuff that he can do, man, he should be able to do it every game. I'm not sure why sometimes just feels like he disappears, and all of a sudden, scores 2 bangers like that in the final, though. Like, he's just a big moments guy, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a big moments guy, and especially a finals kind of player. I think what ended up happening, especially last season, I think it was his first real season where he was getting double marked, and I mean that's very very big, and I think it also came down to when you look at Enzo Maresca, right? I think Enzo Maresca's done amazing, especially considering he was a championship manager, right? Just the season before. But I think Maresca also had to learn, how do I move the front line? How do I move the team around so Palmer can find more space in a world where Palmer is going to be marked, like man marked by two people.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, like very few players in world football can be double marked and still get by, right? Like what Lamine Yamal does is an anomaly. Like he is the exception to the rule. He isn't the rule. Like barely any players in world football can do that nowadays.
But now that you said that, Lamine Yamal, dude, people say he had a bad game. Even the last game, people said he had a bad game. He had an assist and he provoked the goal. In basically the last play of the game.
In the first half, he was the only player that actually wanted to go forward and score a goal. I don't people.
The last 30 minutes of the game, dude, he kept asking for the ball. It was a compact defense. They set up blocks really well for him, probably as best as I've ever seen it. And even the field was wet, and like people made fun of me because I said that, but in reality, dude, Lamine Yamal just kept asking for the ball until things happen. He made another play where I said it on my tactical video, dude. Nobody's going to talk about this, but he made a play where he took Morales, the 1-on-1. Morales slides, and it's a corner kick. After that corner kick, the second goal for Ferran Torres. Nobody's going to say Lamine Yamal drew and was able to get that corner kick right there. But people will say, no, he had a stinker. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy that people would go as far as to say that.
People unfortunately watch they watch football games by checking SofaScore and FootMob. That's how they watch games.
Yeah. It's like whatever the Sofa score or whatever. But Sofa score, he had like 8.8. People still said he was a stinker. Like people still said it wasn't a good Lamine Yamal game. And I understand it. Like even the broadcast was saying that it was an off game. But it's crazy to me that even on an off game, Lamine Yamal can have that kind of game like that. I mean, it's as far as impact goes, I mean, just the way Barca attacks is just through Lamine every single time. Probably that's one of the reasons why too, because Barca is very reliant on Lamine as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I don't know if you have to go. I don't know if you got more.
I got a couple more minutes. I was gonna ask you as well. When I watch a Barca's game, right? Obviously we spoke about the back line, but speaking about the front line a bit, right, as well, because I think this is going to be an important point, especially because I really do believe maybe this is Lewandowski's last season at the top flight. I think that's safe to say, right? And when I look at Flick, what he tried to do in that game, right? I don't think the solution, in my opinion, is to try to shoehorn Rashford into the team. I think Rafinha in the 10 is limiting him. I think Rafinha off the left is way better than Rashford as it stands right now in this current team, right?
Yeah.
And I worry that Flick is going to try to include Marcus Rashford too much into games where he doesn't need to do that. I mean, I think Rashford in games that are more open, right? I think Rashford against Madrid is going to eat a lot more than a Rashford against a low block. That's in my personal opinion. So again, I do worry about that a bit. Again, obviously I trust Hansi Flick. He obviously has the benefit of the doubt, but I think Rafinha 10 doesn't work. And I think, if you're putting Rafinha 10 to put Marcus Rashford on the left, if you had another high quality player on the left, then maybe I would understand it. But as it stands, Marcus Rashford isn't the player that you want to be putting Rafinha in the 10 for.
Yeah. So before I answer that, does Chelsea play tomorrow? Because the Carabao Cup is on this week.
No. So the Carabao Cup this week is for round 3. So it's every team that doesn't have European football plays in round 3.
Oh, okay. Because Manchester United is losing to Grimsby.
So yeah, I'm watching it right now. It was it's two. By the way, it was 2 Onana howlers. The first one, the ball literally went like this, like weak wrist. It just went right by him. And the second one, he tried to punch it out, completely missed the ball, and it just ended up in the back of the net. This guy is
Onana has to be our version of Ter Stegen.
No, he might be worse than Ter Stegen. Because at least Ter Stegen at some point in time was a competent keeper.
Very good. It was very good. And
Onana was never a competent keeper.
18. Yeah, no.
Onana was never a good keeper, bro.
Yeah, no, but in terms of your question, that it's very interesting. And to answer your question, I put the first half struggles, I put them on Flick. Because I said, if we're gonna experiment, we cannot do it up against a Levante who, let's be honest, we struggle in that stadium. This is not the first 3-2 victory we had to get in the last minute of the game. who remember? I know the chat will probably remember this, but it was Luke De Jong who actually completed the comeback in regulation, bro. And Hansi Flick sometimes I don't know if it's because he's not used to La Liga, or he does sometimes maybe he doesn't respect. I don't know what it is, but I remember that this was totally the Osasuna game last season where he benched like six starters against Osasuna to go play at Osasuna, who is an extremely difficult team and an extremely difficult environment to play. And he did that. And after the game, give him credit. He said that this one's on me, because I thought we could come in here and just play with our maybe not with a half-ass team, but not with your starting 11, because he was resting them for the Champions League. Right now, there's no Champions League. Why are we experimenting Rafinha at the 10 and having Rashford on the left? Why not just control the game in the first half, maybe score 1 or 2 goals, bring in Olmo, bring in Fermin, whoever you want at the 10, put in Rafinha as a left wing because he plays better there. If we're winning the game, okay, at that point, let's have Rashford. But I think there's a message that the Hansi Flick wants to bring to the team, and it's just like nobody's safe. It's kind of like the thing with Xavi Alonso at the same time. It's like, okay, Rashford, I'm not going to have you just as I could have you sometimes start and sometimes you bring in a second half. Maybe he wants to motivate him a little bit, and it's his way of motivating Rashford. But at the same time, I didn't like the fact that he did that, because as soon as we brought in Rafinha on the left wing, we brought in Olmo at the 10, we had Gavi for Casado, we saw the difference in the creation. We saw the difference in the functionality of the team. And that should have been the team that should have started the game. I said it on the preview. And to me, I think it was just experimenting. And Flick has to be better when it comes to not, putting more respect on teams, even though they might be just newly promoted sides.
Yeah, I agree. I think he got away with one because of the quality you guys have in the squad. But it was definitely a questionable lineup and a questionable strategy to begin the game with. Hopefully, again, like I said before, I don't think he's a stubborn coach. Hopefully, he doesn't continue with this. But I think especially
he's definitely stubborn with the high line. I wish to be, as a Barca fan, I'm gonna be honest, I wish we didn't have to go into every game down 0-2, because we're down 0-2 FC at this point. Like, way too many games that we're down 0-2, man. Like, what the hell?
Just literally put the. You don't even have to go all the way back. You could literally put the high line back like 2 feet, and I think you save yourself 1 goal, like every game.
And we're letting our goalkeeper hand out to dry too. Like, he's just in no man's land. And John Garcia, I mean, he looks like a thing of beauty right now. He knows when to go. He knows when to stay. He's always in good position right now. So far, so good for Barca with John Garcia, man. Like, I love the sign. It's probably the signing of the season. I mean, we need to be like. I feel like we robbed Espanyol for 25 million for him, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So what do you think? Somebody's asking here. Do you think Madrid will struggle against Mallorca on Saturday?
When I look at Madrid, I think the issue for me at this moment in time is there are 2 vastly different Madrids, and I think Barcelona, you can agree with me, is there is a Madrid that has like the starting lineups that we saw in the Club World Cup, and then there's a Madrid that has the starting lineup that we saw last game against Oviedo. So those are 2 different teams that perform completely differently. Is Xavi gonna go back to the lineup we're used to seeing, right? Maybe, and I think if that's the case, I think that team performs a lot worse than we expect. But I do think it's not. I mean, I think the era of the Madrid running over every team, I don't think it's going to be as easy as people assume. I think a lot of teams are going to, like, if you thought last season a lot of teams were able to, this team, if they had better finishers, they were able to. I think you're going to see a lot of the similar things this season with Madrid, where you're going to say, oh, if this team was just more clinical, right? This team had chances, they just didn't take them. And Madrid is always going to be that club where if they give you 2 chances and you don't bury them, they're winning the game.
Oh yeah.
It's that simple.
If Madrid likes
chances, you don't make them.
Madrid likes to play like within reach. Like if they like to play defense first and then they attack in transition. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. And there's another question mark because Xavi Alonso wants to have the ball. And this Madrid team is kind of constructed to do the opposite. To like play in transition. This is why they're struggling creative wise, because Xavi Alonso wants to have the ball, and they don't
Yep.
have the midfielders to be able to create what Xavi wants them to do. So this team in transition will just kill you. Like if they just let you have the ball, let them attack, and then you kill them in transition, that's when really this team just flourishes a lot more. And in my opinion, that's kind of one of the things that Xavi Alonso has to resolve for the team, and just
Yeah.
kind of flip the script per se. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yes,
Agreed. Agreed. He's
yes,
gonna have to like you said before you believe anything, you're going to need to see evidence otherwise.
yeah. That's just what I think, man.
Hmm.
Um, so like as far as,
Yeah.
just let me know when you have to go. Okay, it's totally fine.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to go in like 2-ish minutes, so I can probably like comment on one more thing. And I gotta head out.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. Let me see if
Yeah.
somebody else asked a good question here in the chat. Somebody did say something. Oh, somebody asked a question. I'm not trying to find it. Can Barca? Okay, you covered this already. Can Chelsea be Barca?
Yeah. Yeah. For me, like I said before, I think for me that is a very 50-50. It
Yeah,
is very, very 50-50 because I do think that we have the tools to hurt you guys, but I
yeah,
think you guys have the tools to hurt us. I think it's really going to come down to who's going to be able to win that midfield battle. Because if we can stifle the ball from even reaching Lamine Yamal, right? Like kind of what we did against PSG, like that midfield was not able to get the ball to Dembele. Dembele was a ghost for the majority of the game, couldn't get the ball. If we're able to do that same sort of thing in terms of getting the ball to Lamine Yamal,
mm,
then we can. But that's easier said than done. Obviously, it's the same thing as a PSG, right? Like if you told somebody, oh yeah, like I said this before, and I'm like, okay, if we can win the midfield battle, and everybody's like, yeah, but how are you gonna do that? This PSG midfield, like they've been running circles around everybody. I'm like, yeah, of course, but if you manage to do it, then that's the only way that you're going to be able to manage to win the game. And I think it's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing in a Barca game. But I
yeah,
really think it's going to be 50-50 who has the better game on the day. Like
yeah,
that is a for me that's very much a coin flip. Very much a coin flip.
yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. And like to me, this season, as far as the Champions League, call me crazy, call me delusional. I want Barcelona to face tough teams this season. I want us to
Of
go up
course.
against Chelsea. I want us to go up against PSG. I still want to see
Hmm.
that matchup, dude. You imagine like Pedri going up against Caicedo, for example. To me, that's a sexy matchup. I
That's
want to see that.
that's UCL level. That's a UCL worthy matchup right there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just what I want to do. I want to see Pedri go up against Vitinha, go up against Joao Neves. I
Of
want to see
course.
Frankie de Jong and Pedri. I wanted to see that final, man. I like, you have no idea how much I really, really wanted to see it. Unfortunately, we're not able to pull it off. But no, man, I appreciate you being here,
Of
RSM, man.
course.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Go subscribe to him. We'll do more shows, man. We definitely got to get together more often. Seems like people
For
do
sure. For
enjoy the
sure.
show, man. Like for real, for real. It was great talk, man. Great talk.
Yeah, no. As always, I appreciate you having me on the channel. I always appreciate the talks that we can have. And yeah, listen, shout out the chat. Big up you guys. Everybody take care, and I'll catch y'all next time. Take care,
Thank you.
everybody. Peace out.
Yeah, I'll stick around. I'll stick around with the chat, and I have a few say. Big up, Omar. How's it going, my man? I just want to tell you, man. I'm gonna be a little late to your show because I was late to mine. I am going to be here for another couple of minutes to address the chat, like I always do. I haven't even eaten anything, so you're gonna have to excuse me there. I might be late to your show, just to let you know, because we're gonna have a Coolers Culture on Omar BYT's channel. So everybody that's watching, you need to go tune in in like 30 minutes. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to redirect because your show is not right after mine. It's gonna be like 30 minutes later, right? Big up, man. Man, like Miguel. Hey, what's up, man? What is going on, buddy? Kevin Garcia, volume. What do you think about Rafinha, right wing, and Yamal in the 10? You know what? I'll be honest. I want to see Rooney Bargy at the 10 before I see Lamine Yamal, because maybe 80 to 90% of our attack is through Lamine. I don't want to see Lamine. I don't want to see Lamine somewhere else where we can potentially lose that aspect of our attack. But it's so important. Look, the game against Levante, that last goal, the three goals we scored were through Lamine Yamal, were through the right flank. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to move Lamine to the left, to the middle. I don't think that Lamine yet it's ready to have that kind of ball control and the kind of vision that you need to have, especially when you have a player like Olmo. We need to be a little bit more patient with Olmo. I think Olmo. I still believe in Olmo. I think he can get better. I think he will be better. Hopefully, he can stay healthy, right? But I think we have better players at the 10 than having to move Lamine and then having to use Rafinha at the right, which I know that's his natural spot. But let's be honest, Rafinha is cooking at the left wing. I'm a big promoter. If it's not broken, don't fix it, because look at what he had. Look at what we did on the what's it call it? Like, look at what he did on the left wing all last season. He was cooking every season. Like, maybe he already got used to that, and there's no point of us like trying to move things around when the season already started. In my opinion, I think it would be a mistake. I do want to see Rooney Bargy though. Once we get him registered, maybe we can try him at the 10 for once. See if he can be a little bit of that Leo Messi role type of deal with Inter Miami, and see what he can do. I do have that curiosity. Maybe Dro could be a player we can bring in there and see what could happen. But yeah, man, let me see what all you guys are saying in the chat, dude. I'm gonna get out of here. Let me know, Omar Big YT. Do you still want me to do the redirect, even though you're not going right after me? Because I gotta cut it short. I gotta cut it in like 5 minutes because I haven't eaten anything. I haven't eaten anything. I gotta eat, and then I gotta jump in your show for a little bit. So yeah, man. Let me see what else you guys are saying. I did stare some questions. But Virgil was crazy, man. Yeah, the Virgil thing, man. We're letting him go basically for like less than 5 million. I think it was less. I think it was 5 million euros or something. Justin, let me just go over a few things. Let me see. It says, let me see what's the latest news. It says after Iñaki's departure, right? He's going to Elche, right? Barca will now have be able to register Szczesny, who will be in the squad to face Rayo Vallecano. So I thought it was going to be Rooney Bargy here who was going to be registered instead of Szczesny, but I guess we're going to go with Szczesny. I kind of wanted to see Rooney instead of him, but I guess it's Hansi Flick's number 2 goalkeeper, so we got to have him there, especially after Peña's leaving. So an agreement between Mallorca and the player, right? And the player is already it's already there. So it's already there. Look, it's in the airport right now in Mallorca, right? And it says between Mallorca and Barcelona on John Bargili, who would leave on a permanent transfer, and Barcelona will keep 50% of his rights in case of a future sell. That's very important. You know, we're still gonna keep 50%, which is good. Like, for example, like if Mallorca sells him for like 50 to 60 million, Barcelona will get 30 million of that sale, which is, I think, to me, it's very important. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, let me see what else as far as the latest news. I know my opinion on that. I think it's fine because he feels like he's ready. Barcelona feels like he's still not ready, and that's the issue. You know, if the player feels like he wants to go, he has the right to leave. And I don't think we should keep holding him. And the best thing we could do is maybe, you know, hold some of that stock into the player, you know, and 50% is actually pretty. I think it's a pretty good deal, and it works for everybody. But no, man, we still don't have any more news. As far as Fermin Lopez, I hope we would have gotten more updates by now. But I appreciate everyone, man. Let me see what you guys are saying real quick, and then I'm gonna get out. Big Scribe says, "Are you gonna stream tomorrow with the draw?" That's still up in the air. I wanted to do it, but I have a few errands I have to run around that time. So I'm thinking maybe I can do a stream. You guys let me know in the chat. Do you guys want a stream, like a reaction, or would you guys rather do it like during the stream, like do like a during reaction? I know a lot of people that I follow would probably be doing a reaction, like a watch along type of thing. So I think maybe some of you might be already tuning into somebody else, but I'm curious to know that. I'm probably gonna do a reaction live stream or something. But yeah, let's see. Flick is gonna be mad. He wanted Matt. He wants to get Martin in the squad. I think Flick will start him. He leaves his left-footed CBs. Yeah, we'll see. I might do a video on Hansi Flick as well. I have a few thoughts on Hansi Flick not being happy with Barcelona right now. I don't think that he's particularly happy with the squad, with the team. Not with the squad. I'm sorry, with the team front office, basically. But guys, I think I'm gonna cut it short, man. I think it was a good stream, an hour and a half. I do appreciate everyone who stopped by, man. Do you guys win, draw, or lose against Atletico both games? Against Atletico, not sure what you mean. I think we're playing Rayo Vallecano right now. So yeah. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like this stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We're growing, man. I really appreciate everyone who comes into my streams, everyone who subscribes to the channel. We're at 3,000 subscribers as we speak right now, and I'm gonna give it up to you guys, man. Thank you. People don't say that enough on channels, and I just want to make sure you guys feel heard, and I want to make sure you guys feel that you guys mean the world to me. That everyone who tunes in, man, 30, 50 people watching, that is a lot of you people taking time out of your day just to be and hang out with me and talk about football, talk about Barca, the team we all grow and love, right? So guys, I'll catch you guys probably tomorrow on another live stream. I might surprise you guys with a live stream during the draw, or I may do a reaction live stream after the draw. So, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. And, guys, Visca El Barça.